good afternoon and welcome to Paris. You're flying from Tel Aviv. Merci, Christophe. And you're representing Waze, and Waze is a social mobile service. It's a social traffic and application, a social traffic application. And you raised $25 million. When was that? Last year?
About 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
2 months ago, okay. So could you introduce yourself? What do you do for Waze? And
so my name is Yael. I run the product and online marketing for Waze. It's actually the most fun job, I guess, in the company and in every company. I've been with Waze for about 2 years, since the very early launch. Today we're about over 3 million users worldwide, and a very fast growth trend.
so tell us about Waze. What is the service about? What is the application about?
So Waze is a free social traffic and navigation app. And I guess most of you are familiar with navigation apps and with traffic apps. But what Waze does very different than other apps, and basically the bottom line of every application is to get you to your destination the fastest way, right? What Waze does very uniquely in this space is that it relies on a community of drivers to share real-time information on traffic and road conditions, and then uses that information in real time to provide you the best route possible. So the social aspect of the application is what sets it apart from others, and what we believe is the right way to do it.
So how does the community build the maps? Because we were discussing this when we were preparing, and you were telling me that the community actually doesn't start from existing maps.
Right. So like it has let me maybe tell you a little bit about how the whole thing works. Basically, you install Waze on your phone, and as you drive around with Waze, what it does is that it automatically analyzes your drive to determine whether there's traffic or not, if you drive fast or isn't, and so on. And you can also share in real-time information about road conditions like accidents, incidents, hazards, and so on. And all this information is used in real time then to provide you with the best route, or reroute you if something happens along the way. You can also see other Wazers on the map, and you can ping them and ask them, about what's going on ahead in terms of road conditions or things like that. You can see friends on the map and so on. So this is the social aspect of the network of drivers, but another very interesting thing that people don't know is that what allows us to make Waze free is the fact that we don't have to pay for maps, and that the maps themselves are created from scratch by the community of users as well.
So that means that the user has the application, and how does he build the map from scratch? I mean,
so as you drive around, we analyze the GPS points, and we create a sort of a grid of the map as more drives accumulate. And based on whether people are driving one way only, we know it's a one way. If people are driving two ways, we know it's a two ways. If lots of people are driving in the same place, we know it's a highway, and so on. And then on top of that, there's a community of mappers that go to the website and add information like street names and things like that. So we have a very active community of mappers as well as drivers that also update the map, and that's a pretty important, having fresh maps is pretty important because, things change all the time.
So you were telling me also that you have incentives for people to actually drive around?
Right, so another angle that is unique about Waze and that I think is pretty interesting is the gaming and fun aspect that the app has. So it's not only that commuting can be pretty boring and you don't mind having fun aspects, is that we really employ, in an interesting way, gaming into the application to encourage users to drive and maintain both the map and the traffic and the real-time information fresh. So the way we do it is, for example, if there's a road where we don't have information about the driving direction or something like that, we have this little game, which is like a kind of a Pac-Man game, that the road would be dotted, and when you would drive over it with your car, the car would transform into like a little creature that would munch on those little dots, and you get points the more you do it. So the whole system is based on points and rank, and people, go for the points, and they know they do that to maintain the map fresh, which is what makes it interesting. They know it's not just a game; it's for the sake of the community.
And does that increase driving? Actually, when you run these games, do people drive more just to eat more dots? Or
yeah, well, it's amazing, but people really do that, and they do that a lot. So we always have little things on the map, but like, for example, Christmas or things like that, we have little prizes shaped like, for example, a Santa hat or all sorts of things that look like road goodies. And whenever we have a week like that, we have people driving double. So, the kilometers driven are actually twice as much as in a normal week when we have those games going on. So it's the fun aspect of the application is really pretty intensive.
Can you give us some figures? How many people are actually using Waze now, and where are they using it? Is it mainly in Israel or elsewhere in the world?
We started off in Israel. It's also acting as our sort of test case, and this is where the map is actually the best map. By the way, something that is very challenging to run within Waze is that we provide a service that doesn't provide full value from day one, because the maps are user-generated. It really depends on the quality of the map in the place you're at for the service to be, and on the number of users in the community for the service to provide the service it should be. So some places are in the building and some places are more advanced. So we started off in Israel, and then the other main market is the US market, which is the second largest. And then we have the Italian community, which is our third biggest community in the world, and then the French community, which is also pretty big.
How many people is that in each of these communities?
So overall, we have about over 3 million users. The Italian community crossed 250,000, and the French community is around 150,000 registered users.
So are the French different from the Italians and from the Israeli and the Americans? How do they are they different in the way they use the service, or they comment, or they...
Overall, we're pretty amazed. People just created the French map from scratch. There was nothing on the map. The way it works is that you open the app, you have no roads, you can have like a blank page, and people just created the whole map from scratch here. So they were very good at creating and maintaining the map fast. Italians, on the other hand, are very chatty. They do a lot of interaction between them, very, very chatty. So like each country has something a little bit different. In Israel, people don't even know that it's a social application. They use it mostly just to get the best route, because this is where you really have the best service. You really get the best route at every given moment because the map is good and the community is very big.
So in France, are you competing with companies like TomTom or some of these companies which are actually using maps from big players like Navtec? And so you were saying the difference is that it's free because people are building the maps from scratch. So what is the business model behind the service?
First of all, in terms of the comparison, there are several advantages as well as disadvantages. So the biggest disadvantage is that our maps are not good enough yet in everywhere where theirs is our best.
People are using a service which doesn't provide full value yet.
Right.
Which is pretty amazing, in fact.
But the amazing thing is, like all social services, people are, in there for the cause. Many of them are there for the cause, and they're doing a lot of work. And it's growing very fast, so they get the satisfaction. But what's different and what's working in our favor is that people want things on their mobile. They don't want to carry another device. They want things that are free. They want stuff that is constantly updated. So the trend is going for mobile and is going for free, which is in our favor. So then looking long term, we're looking more at the mobile players as potential competitors.
And so what is how will you make money?
So location-based advertising is obviously a big potential source of revenues for everybody's looking at it. Nobody has monetized it fully yet, but this is the area that we're focusing on.
So I'm driving, and then I have a message telling me that I can go to this restaurant or that restaurant or that movie theater or that whatever.
Yes, and especially discounts and coupons, some things that are both time sensitive, location based, and in our case, which is very unique, is things that are on your route when you commute, because what's unique about Waze is that it's mostly used for commuting. So it's different to have a user that drives here every day than a user that, is occasionally here and there.
So you already make money in Israel, for example. You were saying that the maps are fairly exhaustive and complete. So does that mean you already were able to activate that revenue stream?
We're beginning. We're just playing around with things. It's like our guinea pig market. We're just doing things here and there and seeing what works best, and we're seeing some directions that are catching much better than others. So it's initial.
How much time do you have? I mean, VCs put $25 million in the company, so how much time they gave you?
So we have a lot of time. The company has to begin to show revenues in the next year, significant revenues.
So what about the technology? What does it entail in terms of resources and technology behind the application?
Yeah, so one of the reasons for the investment of such a big investment of 25 million is that it's not just a simple application, you can have 2-3 developers working on it. There's several big applications developed into that, a lot of technology, a lot of infrastructure. So it's a pretty heavy, it looks like a small application, but it's a pretty heavy back-end technological in the back of it.
So you flew from Tel Aviv just for the Congress today?
No, actually, we flew in mostly because we're interviewing users. We have one-on-one meetings with users. We meet both people that have left us and people that are still with us, and we're spending at least an hour with each person to hear what they think about the product, what the good things are, what the bad things are, and we pretty much rely almost entirely on the user base for everything, from testing the application to giving us feedback to pretty much everything. We don't have a QA or support or...
And you found that it was, that's pretty amazing. You're flying to meet end users. End users using the application in France, elsewhere as well? Everywhere? You're flying to meet end users?
Everywhere, yeah. We have that part of my job. I spend a lot of time talking with end users, and when you talk to them, you get a completely different picture than what you think.
You meet them face to face. You don't actually talk over Skype or Uvu or whatever.
Yeah, because they can show you things, and they show you other applications. They show you things they like, and you get a different.
So who are your competitors? If they show you other applications, or what kind of service are they showing you?
So traffic probably is the biggest problem, and this is what people think Waze has the most potential in. Real-time traffic and real-time road information, and then they show us what other applications are doing. It's mostly, I would say Google Maps in terms of traffic. And what people are actually showing us is how they would like to see it, better perform on Waze. And they clearly see that the social aspect and the human aspect, interpretation on top of traffic, on top of just traffic lines, red, green, and whatever, is what makes the difference for them. So this is where we're really, driving fast to have a strong edge on. And the second thing is on the commuting aspect. So Google and other navigation apps are focusing on getting you to places you don't know in the best way. We are focusing on everyday driving, getting to know you, getting to know what you like, getting to show you a community of users that drive the same ways that you drive. So you have groups within Waze, commuting groups, and you have ways to interact with people that drive the same commute and have the same pains.
How was the idea born?
So we have a very smart guy in the company. He's like the original founder of the company, and his name is Ehud. And about 5 years ago, he received a handheld device, a Windows-based device, with a navigation application called Destinator. And he saw that it had APIs. He's a developer. The guy's a developer. He saw that it has APIs, and he said, "Cool, why not develop a little add-on that would allow users to alert or to get alerts on speed cams, speed traps on the road." So he created this little app, and very quickly he managed to get a community of people to use it and to map the entire country. And very quickly after that, he got a letter from the lawyers of the map saying that he's not allowed to do that, and that he has to take it off, and whatever. So he said, that doesn't make sense. The map is missing information. Let's just create a map from scratch. So this is when he started creating the map from scratch, and with the community, very quickly they mapped the entire country, and from there on, the idea of Waze and traffic and everything on top of that, based on the community, evolved.
What's your focus now? Where do you put your focus? Improving the product?
Well, the biggest challenge in a company like ours is scaling, because every social service needs the user base in order for it to provide the real value. So scaling is one aspect, obviously. So distribution, scaling, and everything is done virally. We're a $0 marketing company, so it's done through the product mostly. And so building a good product is our focus constantly, and then also differentiating ourselves from existing navigation and traffic apps, and showing our value in the commuting and in social space.
All right, well, yeah, thank you very much. Do we have a couple of questions before we hand out to the next speaker? No? Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I hope the feedback from the French is providing a lot of...
Very helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Merci.